Set me free, yeah. 내 맘대로 안 될 걸 알면서.
So this is just a trigger and content warning because this video is all about suicide in hopes that it will shed light on its prevalence within our communities. My hope is that you will share this information and potentially become a suicide advocate yourself, like I am. As I've shared in earlier videos, I am a suicide survivor. I have lost a friend to suicide and I have attempted myself because I do suffer from mild depression and pretty severe anxiety. On top of all of that, I am an LGBTQ individual stuck in the deep south of the United States. It doesn't get much better than this. So this next little part is going to be like really hard for me to record, so I'm just going to put pictures over it because I might cry. On January 13th, 2016, myself and many others lost Taylor Morgan Spires to suicide. This wasn't her first attempt, but it was her final one, and it was by gun. Her and I were best friends in high school. I knew her because I was dating someone that was going to be her cousin, and our moms were both nurses at our local urgent care. She transferred to my high school my senior year when she was bullied and harassed at her other school. And just like that, we became best friends and inseparable. We did crazy things like getting kicked out of Walmart and Dollar Trees a lot. That was our weekend thing. A neighbor almost called the cops on us for being too loud one time. We had so much fun together. There were so many laughs shared between us. When I started college, we did grow apart a little bit, and I will admit to that. It was bound to happen, just like any relationship does. We still hung out any chance we got, and I'd always keep up with her through texting. My sophomore year in college is when she killed herself, and I will remember that day as the worst day of my life. I remember the exact outfit I was wearing. I remember sitting at my desk and my friends holding me. I remember the next day when we visited her family and the broken sob that escaped her father's mouth when he walked in. That will haunt me to this day. Nothing prepares you for the pain that suicide leaves behind. It stays forever. You just become used to it. Your mind is plagued with the whys and why nots. As a suicide survivor, you'll probably develop some mental illness from it, or yours will worsen. The only good thing that came from this terrible tragedy was the clarity I gained for my future profession. At that point in my life, I was just a simple psychology and music major, unsure of what the future held for me. But in that moment, I knew I wanted to be a mental health counselor. So from then on, I became an advocate. We made a fundraiser for her birthday and were able to get her the best headstone that we could. Every year we've attended the suicide prevention and awareness walks in memory of her. Whenever I get the chance, I always tell her story. And that story is her message that she gave to us in her last words on her letter, which was to love everybody. And I stand by those words and use them in my own practice to this day. Okay, so now we are going to jump right in, and I'm going to provide you with some statistics regarding suicide rates globally and nationally. So here are some suicide global statistics. Approximately 800,000 people die of suicide every year, which is one person every 40 seconds. Suicide occurs throughout the lifespan and is the second leading cause of death amongst 15 to 29-year-olds. 79% of suicides occur more in low and middle income countries in 2016. Suicide accounts for 1.4% of all deaths worldwide, making it the 18th leading cause of death in 2016. Here are some United States suicide statistics. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. In 2018, 48,344 Americans died by suicide. In 2018, there were an estimated 1.4 million suicide attempts. The rate of suicide is highest in middle-aged white men. They die 3.56 times more often than women do. On average, there are 132 suicides per day. Firearms account for over 50% of all suicide deaths. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 to 24. Here are some LGBTQ+ specific suicide statistics. LGBTQ plus individuals are more likely to have seriously contemplated suicide, almost 3 times the rate of their heterosexual and cisgender counterparts. LGBTQ plus youth are almost 5 times as likely to have attempted suicide compared to heterosexual and cisgender individuals. An international study found that 40% of transgender adults report having made a suicide attempt, and 92% of these reported having attempted suicide before the age of 25. LGBTQ plus individuals that come from a highly rejecting family are 8.4 times more likely to have attempted suicide other than their heterosexual cisgender counterparts. Suicide rates are at an all-time high, considering the impact of COVID. People have lost their jobs, loved ones, and the freedom of going outside without the fear of catching the virus. So no wonder that these rates have spiked. Just within the last month, I've heard from several people of people dying from suicide. Suicide affects everyone. It does not discriminate against sex, gender, sexual orientation, race, nationality, or religion. It is something that all human beings have to face, whether it's in the news or it's someone you know or even yourself. So that's about it. That's all I'm going to talk about for right now because it's just a very sensitive topic for me. But just as a reminder, International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day is November 23rd, and the ribbon color is this really pretty teal and purple. Because of COVID, there probably won't be any events, but it's good to observe that day. If you have a loved one that you lost to suicide, or maybe you have dealt with suicide, it's a good day to recognize that loss or experience. So I just want to thank you for sticking around with this really hard topic that I had to address, but it had to be done. This video is not over yet, so if you will continue watching, you'll see a surprise, I guess.
Bye. Bye.